You'd think we'd be having a water shortage right now, and we are. Alrighty, I know that was a fun little thing to do, but seriously, we are in some severe drought conditions right now here in the state of Florida. 2 days ago, it was announced that the entire state finally fell into a drought. The Panhandle is at the worst, and we're here in north central Florida, not far behind. I'm going to take you around and show you some of the things that we do as a whole and some of the things that I have done to comply with the water restrictions. There are some also surprises that I have found that are really helpful in maintaining the compliance with those restrictions, and I'm going to share those with you today. Welcome to Green Thumb Black Thumb. I'm Green Thumb Becky. I live in north central Florida, zone 9A. And Florida, well, we're known for water. Water everywhere. We have our beautiful beaches. Every house has a pool, of course. And we have gorgeous springs and rivers, lakes for recreation, and ponds, and gosh, you name it, we've got water. It rains every day at 3 o'clock, and you can just do anything you want because we have water everywhere. That is not the case this year because we are in an extreme drought, but that's also not the case every spring. We too have our dry season. We're not only in our dry season, but this year in particular, we are in an extreme drought. So what that means now is we have very restricted watering. So much so that we can't use any of those traditional methods that everybody across the country likes to use. Why don't we check out some of these methods? Method 1, the traditional fan sprinkler. No, cannot use it anymore. What I've been using it for was to water my newly planted tropical area behind my pool. And it was great when I was allowed to do it, and it was great when it helped me. The good news is about this is I was able to get these planted back when I could still use it, and they were able to get established. So now I'm able to water them every 2 or 3 days. They are planted in an area that is good for them, so they have great drainage in this sandy soil, but they still need to be watered. To me, this is the finest drip irrigation hose on the market. It fills up with water and it literally weeps between every single pour. I'd show you, but we can't even use these now. But what I do with these is I circle them around the plants that need it, and then I cover them with mulch and I turn them on as needed. I generally use these around my dragon fruit, and if you can see, I'll take you over here. I'm in the process of moving my dragon fruit over to their new permanent home. While I'm still in the process of putting the dragon fruit trellises in, I've got everything set up for them. What I will do is I will staple around the outer edges here the dragon fruit or the irrigation, and it will just drip here. The dragon fruit will be planted between this post holder and the drip irrigation, and then I'll put the mulch over all of this. And dragon fruit does not require much water at all whatsoever, especially once they start getting established, even in this heat. So maybe it'll need it once, twice a month. And if they start looking a little stressed, I may add it a little more. And of course, every once in a while, I'll come over and feel how moist the soil is. But I will say, even with the sand, what I found when I put my finger in the soil, it was far more moist than it ever was when they were in pots. So I wasn't watering more than once a month, and that was 100% attributed to the mulch and the drip irrigation, because the drip irrigation wasn't evaporating, and once again, because of the mulch. Let's go take a look at another use for the drip irrigation. I've got my mini orchard here. They just got planted. They're doing really well. I got them in the ground just before this extreme heat came on. I'm still going to put the landscape fabric down,
and they're going to get heavy mulch as well. Given that they're fruit trees, they're going to need a little bit more water, maybe once a week initially, but eventually when they get established, they may need it once a week. Again, I'm going to have to manually check how well they're doing, but they're also going to get the heavy mulch. They're just not going to require as much water because of the mulch. Now, right now, because we are in this extreme drought, we're not allowed to use any of these methods. We're not allowed to use, we just have to hand water. That is a requirement. We can get fined, heavily fined. So let me show you a way that we can hand water and preserve the water. You may have seen some Black Thumbs videos on wicking beds. Well, we've got an experiment going on here, which is another video, but this is for our corn. I wish you could feel this. This is very moist. This is sand, and I don't need to water this at all. This corn is growing and has plenty of moisture. They are not hurting for moisture at all. It is evaporating slowly over time, but as you can see, these are about 9-inch pools. I'd say there's 6 to 7 inches of sand in there, and both pools are plenty moist. I still don't need to water today, probably won't need to water tomorrow, and now that they are the size they are.
How long has it been since you've watered?
Oh, that's a great question. I'd say it's been about 4-5 days since I've watered. And I did hand water when I watered.
You watered the sand?
I watered the sand, but because of the size they were at the time, I also top watered each of the pots. From this point forward, I don't think I will need to top water them anymore. Maybe these corn here on my left, because they are just a little behind the corn on the right, might need one more top watering. That may be it. They are doing spectacularly well. Once again, hand watering. This method is retaining the water very, very well. I want to explain one thing. These pots are not sitting on top of the sand. They are buried probably 5-6 inches down in the sand. So it's very deceptive.
And they're cloth.
And they're cloth pots, so they're very they absorb the water in no time. All we're waiting for is the roots of these corn to get low enough down, so which is why we are still top watering while they're young, and they can then absorb the water that we water into the sand. That's it. And they're doing spectacularly well. Let me show you one other thing. And I realize it's a very small example. This is my smoke tree, my little smoke tree, which suffered badly last year. I transplanted it back here, and I had to trim off the grass from my mullies, and I went ahead and used their trimmings as mulch. This mulch, it's albeit a small area, has done wonders for my smoke tree. That's how mulch can help. I've only had to hand water my smoke tree since it got planted, I think 5 or 6 times. It's doing beautifully. Mulch. And the reason I've chosen to make this video now is because this whole week has been extremely hot. You've probably seen it, extreme heat across the country. Well, we've been getting it too. It's freaking April, and we've been getting into the 90s plus. I went into the car wash the other day. My car was 96 degrees, and I drove out and it was 73 beautiful degrees for 5 minutes. Anyway, so one other thing that I'm going to do, which I'm not going to walk over and show you, but I'm going to have to preemptively pick my garlic, harvest all my garlic, because they are water hogs. They're not ready to harvest right now, but I am going to harvest all my garlic. I just can't continue to water them. My mistake was planting as much as I planted, and I can't water them due to restrictions. So we're gonna have small garlic this year. That's a separate video, but you'll be coming along for that. So come with me. I'm not gonna go inside the pool area to show you, but we can walk alongside of them. So as you know, I've got my green stalks going. I have been very, very pleased. One of these side benefits that I am learning about with regard to my green stalks. Now it's with the efficiency of watering. Initially I was top watering because the seeds were so small, and the deeper irrigation that filling the whole irrigation system really wasn't going to reach the small seeds. But as you can see now, with things starting to take off, I've started watering them more and more with the irrigation that I have for it, and they have just taken off. I mean, it's insane what they're doing, and I couldn't be more happy. And I view this as a beautiful, beautiful way to conserve water. I mean, I let them fill up. They retain the moisture. You would be surprised how moist these cups are. Yeah, they may get a little dry on top, but not much. A little bit of irrigation from the center takes care of that. And next thing you know, these things are practically twice as big as they were yesterday. Especially, look, I can't even believe that these tomatoes over here are twice as big as they were yesterday. And I haven't even fertilized them yet. That is yet another video. But this has been the most efficient watering system I have ever run across. And I've got these other pots out here. These I have to hand water anyway, regardless. These are dry. They look dry. This is my bug. Rather than hanging my husband up by the pool, I've got my I forgot what it's called. Citronella. My yard-long green beans, my yard-long red beans, and something else is I noticed is starting to come up, and there it is. I hope this is it. These are the New Zealand spinach are finally starting to come up, so I'm pleased at that. And once again, hand watering due to restrictions and honestly due to ease. That is what I have to say. Oh, I'm also going to have to harvest my onions. I planted them in a bad place to begin with. They have a severe lack of water. They got transplanted mid-season. Don't do that. Do not do that. And we've got this extreme heat. They're beyond their capacity. So next year, the garlic's getting planted in an entirely different place, and that'll be a very different experience. Same with the onions, and hopefully we won't have a drought. So
Thanks for coming along on today's video. Of exploring all the different ways of watering. Some were more efficient, some are less efficient, and it's really important that we move towards efficiency, so I hope they were helpful for you. And if there's an efficient method that we missed, we'd love to hear about it in the comments below. Please don't forget to like, subscribe, and share, and we really appreciate you coming along. Take care, and we'd love to see you in the next one. Toodles!